Hello, and welcome to the Gerard Manley Hopkins podcast. I'm Lance Pierson. This podcast is made up of two separate recordings of Hopkins' poems, one of which was a live show. For more information about this, please listen to episode 1, where you can also find out how to get your hands on the program for each show. Contact me at lance@lancepierson.org. And if you live in the UK and would like to know more about the Hopkins Society, go to hopkinssociety.co.uk for more information.
So let's welcome. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Helen, for the introduction. I'd like now to start with Gerard Manley Hopkins himself. The world is charged with the grandeur of God. It will flame out like shining from shook foil. It gathers to a greatness like the ooze of oil crushed. Why do men then now not reck his rod? Generations have trod, have trod, have trod. And all is seared with trade, bleared, smeared with toil, and shares man's smudge, and wears man's smell. The soil is bare now, nor can foot feel, being shod. And for all this, nature is never spent. There lives the dearest freshness, deep down things. And though the last lights off the black west went, oh, morning at the brown brink eastward springs, because the Holy Ghost over the bent world broods, with warm breast and with bright wings. Probably Hopkins' best-known poem, deservedly famous. Like many sonnets, it's in 3 parts. Lines 1 to 4 picture God's majestic energy and power in creation. And Hopkins matches God's energy with the dynamic word charged at the beginning. One student misquoted this line in an exam as the world is full of the grandeur of God. But how much more, how much stronger the word charged is than full? I've suggested some of the depths it carries in the footnote. But the main ones must be, first, carrying an electric charge or current that sparks and flashes, because that's what line 2 says. The world blazes like a piece of gold foil shaken in the sunlight. And secondly, heavy and loaded like a cannon packed or charged with powder and ball, because that's what line 3 says. Tread on the world and it spills out with God's greatness. So he asks, line 4, why can't people see this and act on it? Well, lines 5 to 8 give the answer. They are heavy in a different way. They trudge with the exhaustion of human enslavement. Line 5 echoes the dreary progression from one generation to the next. Line 6, the effects of the Industrial Revolution on God's creation. Seared, bleared, smeared. Hopkins had worked near Sheffield and seen the first factories belching out their noxious smoke. Line 8, people wear shoes and so have lost direct touch with the earth God made. The soil is bare, but our feet are not. And this is symbolic of a much more total alienation of us from God and his creation. As our feet are encased in boots, so our whole souls are bound up, unfree. And yet, despite our worst efforts, God keeps renewing nature, as in verses 9 to 14. Just note Hopkins' wondrous dexterity with words in the last line. World broods sets up a pattern of w followed by br, and he repeats it in warm breast. But then, with his breathless he turns it the other way round. Br, w, bright wings. Now that poem is one of a sequence of sonnets Hopkins wrote at a very happy time in his life. And we shall finish this first half of his lighter, brighter poems with several more from the sequence. But before that, I want to look at one or two others he wrote a bit later on. And from here on, I shall read the poems after I have said something about them. And I'm trying to let the poems speak. The main point of this evening is to hear Hopkins' words and not propound my views about them, which are much less important.